Everybody, Chef Madge, we in here for round 2 of the Q&A session. There was more questions that I wanted to get to that I didn't get a chance to answer in the first session. So here we are, session 2, Q&A, Marketing Cookbook. Yay! So the first question that I want to get into for today, on the last segment, we talked about how your website is the most important part of your digital marketing strategy. Someone asked me to go into a little bit more detail about my history with websites. I started creating websites when I was about 11 or 12 years old. I got into computers young. My father was the type to buy computer parts, bring them home, and put computers together. So there was always a computer in the house of some sort, and so I just naturally took to it in my free time. I had a good friend of mine, Justin Counts, that helped me learn how to code HTML from scratch. And fast forward, when I got to college, I started selling website services to fraternities and sororities, editing their websites for them. Then that transitioned into me doing websites for nightclubs and bars and restaurants, even recording artists. And so I've done, all sorts of websites, e-commerce, lead generation, landing pages, all sorts of websites. So that's kind of a brief history with me and the internet. So the next question that I want to get to, somebody asked, who are some of your favorite clients? Well, as a marketer, all my clients are my favorite clients. I love you all equally. But I've had a lot of projects that have been fun. Some projects have taken me places, literally. Got to travel with some projects. I've had some projects that have taught me things about myself, that helped me learn things about myself, about marketing that I would never know if I didn't, if I wasn't a part of those projects. And so some of those projects include things like Mikey Perez, boxer, signed to Golden Boy. We went out there and did some marketing with him in Puerto Rico during one of his fights. My mother's book release, her whole launch, the marketing of her book rollout, that was definitely a fun project. I definitely learned a lot through that. The Flagrant Foul, our podcast, marketing it, developing the website, building the social media pages for it, was definitely a learning experience. There's a ton of other projects I can't talk about again because of legal reasons from an agency standpoint. Okay, so the next question that we're going to get into, somebody asked me to describe a major failure that I had. So one of the biggest failures, I guess you could say, is my first business, dmthewebguy.com. I was, attempting to sell websites. I had no plan, no strategy, no backing, nothing. And I was just out here trying to sell websites. I did get an LLC for it. And, I thought that's all I needed. It taught me a whole lot about business, about understanding how to land clients, about understanding how to keep up with payments, accounting, how to hire people, how to outsource when you need things. So that, was a failure that's a success. And I say this all the time. I'm not afraid to fail. I don't have a fear of rejection. I want things to go bad early so we can fix them and move forward. And failure is not a bad word. Like, you can fail at something as long as you have a plan to get back up and try to do the next thing or learn from that failure and build upon it. You know what I mean? Another question someone asked is, do you work with multi-level marketing programs? And the answer is absolutely not. I've studied 7 or 8 MLM programs in detail. I've been to the meetings. I went online and done my research. I researched some of the founders. And multi-level marketing in nature, to me, is more sales. It's not really real marketing as I've been taught marketing. And so I just don't associate with it. I know there are a lot of people who do them, who are a part of them. There are some very big ones. But myself, Chef Madge, and Camco Marketing, we do not work with and will not work with multi-level marketing programs. So another question I get asked, and I get asked this question a lot, is email marketing still effective? The short answer is yes, absolutely. However, we have to look at what your product or service is, and you really want to take a look at your relationship with your customers, right? If you have a product or service that frequent contact really isn't required, you may turn somebody off by emailing them too many times. However, on the flip side, if you don't ever email your customers or send too few emails, your customer may go to competition because competition may be in their inbox. So you really want to come up with an email strategy that is customer centric. meaning you don't want to just drive your message out to people all day. You want to make sure that they want to receive these messages. So we'll have a whole episode about email marketing, how different business verticals can use email marketing, and some fun stuff that people are doing with email marketing. So great question. Email is definitely effective. We're going to talk about how we use it. So another question asked, this is Chef Matt's the Marketing Cookbook. Somebody asked me, what is my favorite thing to cook or to have someone else cook? Hands down is gumbo. God rest his soul, my Uncle Carl was probably the gumbo king of the family for the longest. And so when he passed on, we just hope that we can be as good as him when we make our gumbo. But gumbo is probably one of my favorite things to make, eat, watch someone else make. Definitely gumbo. All right, so the next question somebody asked me is, why do I pop my collar and say yee? Well, for those of you who don't know already, I'm from East Oakland, California, and in the Bay, we just do things a little bit differently. And so when we get excited or we want to put an exclamation on a statement, we want to make sure that we pop our collar and say yee. So when you see me do that, that's just a shout out to my friends and family back home, and just a way for me to kind of show love to the town, show love to the Bay for all the game that it has bestowed upon me. So on the count of 3, I want everybody to say yee. 1, 2, 3, yee! Well, family, this has been another great Q&A session. I appreciate all the questions that you guys have sent me. I have fun doing this, so I hope you guys keep sending me questions. Until then, though, Chef Maz, I got to get back in the kitchen. I got to go whip it up. It's time to put together some more content for the Marketing Cookbook coming your way real soon. Yee!